So we're going to talk about digital painting tools. And in most instances, everybody gets really kind of overwhelmed with the Photoshop interface because there's so many tools and so many panels and so much to look at. In all reality, digital painting is actually very simple. You're using a very small set of tools in Photoshop. And the big thing is you're using those tools in conjunction with other tools. So the first thing is layers. Oftentimes there's a ton of layer information, and ultimately you create a new layer with the plus button. You can drag and drop these layers above each other, and you can create clipping masks and things like that. Those are a little bit more advanced, but that's for the most part what we're using. Now with that, the next thing is the brush tool. So with the brush tool, there's 3 main brushes that I use, and there's 2 main settings that I use. The first brush is the hard round. The hard round is basically a brush that moves back and forth. The soft round is another brush with softer edges, and it allows me to build up gradients. In the most part, the 2 settings that I use are transfer with pen pressure, and I use shape dynamics with pen pressure. So these only work with digital tablets, but with shape dynamics turned on and a hard round, so I can get a very ink style brush going on. So simply controlling how hard and how soft I press. With the soft round, I can go into the transfer settings and use pen pressure and create a building of brush strokes. Again, using softer brushes, I'm just building up the strokes. And that's with the soft round and the transfer setting. And with that in mind, with those 2 brushes, I usually use something close to a texture style brush. It's usually nothing hard, like the chalk brush works fine. And if you use the chalk brush with the tip shape, a little bit of spacing, and so you can kind of build up a texture. Again, if you're using transfer, you can kind of build up a rough texture setting and get a little bit more texture. And that's ultimately the brushes that I use. The next brushes are ultimately the eraser. If I'm on the eraser tool here, that has the same settings, but for the most part, you can either just erase or you can slowly build up using the pressure sensitive and erase it all. The other tools that I use are ultimately the shape tools, the rectangle lasso and the circle lasso, as well as the 2 lasso tools, the polygon and the regular lasso tool. That allows me to create a basic shape and fill that shape using the paint bucket tool. Then I can use the lasso tool and go in the brush, changing my color, and build up my shapes accordingly. But for the most part, that is the settings that I use for most digital painting. There's a lot more things that you can use, but for the most part, if you just want to get started for painting, those couple of tools will get you on the road and allow you to paint exactly what you want. You can draw, you can paint, and kind of move back and forth and create more layers. So if I want to build up another layer and change my colors and keep painting, I can paint using those colors. Very simple, very easy, and kind of working however you feel the workflow method goes. Now, as you get more and more in depth in this, you'll figure out more tools and more tips and tricks, but those are the basics, and that's really all you need to learn. If you want more information, I have a playlist available, and you're more than welcome to check out some of the other Photoshop tools. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, and I appreciate you, and thanks for watching.